Welcome to motherhood, you're gonna pee your pants now. Wear those pads, those diapers when you go to the trampoline park with your kids. I have so much to be grateful for when a woman says no to herself, so you're just gonna continue to leak. I got 10 women and my mother was one of them because she was like, I'm bored, I'm gonna join too. I look up to a lot of women in the pelvic floor space and see how they've grown. So I'm like, why can't I do that?
That was Krystal Schouten, and she's a pelvic floor fitness specialist in Brantford, Ontario, who helps women stop peeing their pants. Yep, you heard that right. And today, we're talking about how she went from one-on-one training to building a membership, the limiting belief that almost held her back, and why she finally decided to stop playing small. And wait until you hear what happened when she launched with nothing built yet. Let's get into it. Krystal! Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so you are local, which is like, I was telling you off camera, our team just like raves about you all the time and just always wanted to celebrate you because you're a local success. But for everybody watching and listening, what is it that you do?
So I am a pelvic floor fitness and movement specialist. So I help women in lots of capacities, but more so with my membership, I help women in the pelvic floor space. Basically, the women who pee their pants, when they cough, when they laugh, when they jump on the trampoline at Flying Squirrel with their kids, or they just can't make it to the bathroom. So that's my one niche that I'm really passionate about helping women in.
This is a challenge and a problem that a lot of women face, and you have been typically working with women in what capacity, helping them with that?
My passion started as a new mom. I have two boys. Well, they're now 13 and almost 10. But I started in the prenatal postpartum space. I was a fitness trainer before, part-time, very casual, had a whole nother job. And then when I started getting into that space, I started to learn more about pelvic floor health and wellness. And you can help women in that new mom stage, but then women who are older are also suffering. So one thing that gets tossed around is like, okay, welcome to motherhood, you're gonna pee your pants now. So wear those pads, those diapers when you go to the trampoline park with your kids. And when I was having conversations with moms, a lot of these problems were holding them back from playing with their kids.
Yeah, like it's like an embarrassing thing. They don't want to, be embarrassed. They don't do the things.
Yeah, right. So and then their kids would be like, oh, mom peed her pants, so she can't play with us on the trampoline. So it started from that new mom stage. And then I started realizing, you know what? Women who their kids are in school, their university, right? Maybe they're kids that are having kids. These women are all still suffering from these issues. And it's a very vulnerable space.
And it's preventable. There can be things that they can do to prevent that from happening.
Yeah. So my background, I am a fitness specialist. I'm a coach, but I specialize in those muscles. So in the core muscles. And there's tons of things you can do. And it's all movement and fitness. And who doesn't want to move their body? And actually a lot of these symptoms prevent people, women especially, from doing exercises. Like when it's time to do jumping jacks, they're like, no thanks, I gotta go to the bathroom now. Right? So my biggest passion when I started learning more about the pelvic floor space, I actually myself got a pelvic floor assessment. So I work with pelvic floor physiotherapists as well. So I work with locally in town. I do work with Essential Physiotherapy and Wellness, but they are a team that I work with. So when you work in the pelvic floor space, you can get an internal done, get an understanding of how the core is actually functioning. And then my job is really helping them with movement, strengthening, a big part of releasing, and just, starting to build that functionality back.
Got it. Okay, so you initially were working with clients one-on-one, is that right? And so that was like, they would come to you, they want to get your help, strengthening those muscles. And so they would work with you one-on-one for a period of time. That was the business model?
Yeah, that was the business model. So I would actually work in partnership with the physiotherapists, and I would build their program based on their assessment. So it was all virtual. So I would help them through that journey. And it was about a 3-month journey that I would work with them in that one-on-one space.
And how long have you been working in that capacity?
So be about 5 years. So actually, COVID. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to film videos. I'm going to be a week ahead. I was a week ahead of everyone who joined. I think I got 10 women and my mother was one of them because she was like, I'm bored, I'm going to join too. So I was like, okay. So the plan was to do 4 weeks. And I was, like I said, 1 week ahead of them. I would film 5 workouts on a Friday. I went to school for broadcasting, so I have editing, all of that as a background for me. I'm comfortable in front of the camera, so I just film those, and then I would upload them to my platform. And then they would just I would be 1 week ahead of them. And then I did 4 weeks. And that was kind of the plan. 4 weeks, that was it. My mom was like, do another 4 weeks. I'm like, okay. So then I went back again, same thing. And then she's like, okay, you need to do another 4 weeks. And I'm like, okay. So I built this 12-week program through that time when we were all stuck inside.
Shout out to your mom.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, I'm thankful for my mom that she pushed me to keep going.
Yeah.
And that's where it just started. And then, got the physios on board. And then the word got out because it was in Brantford. And I was one of the only ones really talking about this as a fitness coach.
Okay, a couple things that I want to dive into. One is that I think it's really, worth highlighting that you have this symbiotic relationship with the therapist, which, I think is really a huge eye-opener for a lot of people is that, hey, like you're helping them, they're helping you. It's like, it's a really great relationship. And there's a lot of opportunities, in this world and in business for those kinds of relationships. Can you just talk a little bit about like how you formed those relationships?
So when I started doing my mom and baby classes, Sherry, who's the owner of Essential Physio, she found out about me and she was like, okay, I got to reach out to her because pelvic floor health and how you heal postpartum is extremely important. And it's something that is not talked a lot about. So Sherry reached out to me and she was like, Krystal, you're running these mom and baby classes. Like, I really think you should just learn more about your pelvic floor. At the time, I was just like your average, certified fitness trainer. So I was like, okay. So she gave me some names. Kim Vopney is one of them. She's the vagina coach. And she was like, look into her, take her course. So I was like, okay. So it's funny. So Sherry always says to me when she had this conversation with me, she thought I was going to be like, yeah, okay. And then just keep doing what I'm doing and not really run with it.
She was like kind of mentoring you and guiding you and saying, hey, listen, there's an opportunity here. Like lean into it.
100%. So I took it and I ran with it. And I remember walking in there and me as a fitness trainer was also not taught about the importance of pelvic floor trainer. So I took training. So I took a lot of that as like, I was a new mom at the time and no one was telling me. So for me, it was a little bit of a personal journey myself. And I remember walking in and being like, hey moms, today we're going to talk about your pelvic floors and we're talking about your vaginas and all the things that are happening that we need to like really focus on for you to thrive in your later years of life as well. And they were just like, they all just ate it. And then from there, I just became this pelvic floor fitness specialist.
Yeah.
And then, Sherry and I we do a lot of events locally in Brantford. So having that partnership with her really, really is helpful for my business and then building that trust with women.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think there is an opportunity for a lot of businesses, a lot of people watching that they don't even realize that there's great partners that would love to send you business and vice versa. And there's a lot of great collaboration that can happen if you just open yourself up to it. So first off, kudos to the woman who suggested like, hey, Krystal, like pursue this. And kudos to you for being open to receiving that and then doing something with it. And then to see the collaboration that has happened as well. I think it just checks all the boxes. So kudos to you on that. Hey, Krystal's about to share exactly how she built her membership. This is like the real good stuff. And if you're watching this somewhere where you can't take notes, listen, don't worry about it. We got you covered. Everything is in a free resource kit linked in the description. So just follow along, enjoy the story, and get the resources later. Okay, so you've started to build a reputation around this. Yes. You started to become the gal on all things pelvic floor.
Yeah.
And what did you see happen once you decided to specialize? Did you see like momentum build because you were getting more specialized in a particular area?
Definitely. I talk about how this space is very vulnerable, but for someone to listen and just be like, oh my gosh, someone hears me, someone sees me. I want to learn more. I think the biggest thing is like I didn't know this was a possibility. I thought it was just like, I have this life sentence that I'm going to pee my pants. I'm going to be buying, diapers. As a woman, no one wants to wear those or
how can you feel attractive in that?
Yeah. So it's just, they started to be like, oh, there's someone here that sees me, that I can talk to about this. Cause that's a big thing too. It's a hard conversation to have. And actually the one thing I always say, and clients will like, when I have a call with them, this is TMI, Krystal. And I'm like, okay, there's no such thing as TMI. Like I've heard it all. Tell me everything. And it can be hard. Like I've just met you on this call, but building that trust where it's like, okay, I feel comfortable enough to talk to you about this. And so that was that big shift where I was like, okay, I need to be this woman who is this voice for these women, just to give them that education. And when you have education about yourself or just awareness about yourself, really the possibilities are endless there. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
So up to this point, you had been working with people one-on-one.
Yeah.
You mentioned though that you started helping people virtually. Talk to me a little bit about the digital business and how that came to be.
I was introduced to the digital space more so with one specific fitness platform, back in I want to say 2018. And I film all my workouts myself. I huff and puff through them so they can be like, hey, Krystal's tired. We're gonna be tired. We can feel
we're all in this together.
We're all in this together. So that's how I started the just the at-home workouts. And I wanted it to be press play, follow along.
Talk to me a little bit about that. How are you marketing this?
My virtual is my local people. So that's one thing, reason why I love virtual, but I feel like I am very much Brantford's pelvic floor fitness specialist, which I love, right? That's that starting point. But I would like to branch out. And I mean, it's funny, you talked about when we had our little mastermind earlier about limiting beliefs.
What do you think one of yours is?
That I can't be big.
Interesting. Where do you think that comes from?
Oh, when you have those negative things that happen in your business, someone canceling or someone ghosting you on a call. And then you think okay, well, is this good enough? Does this and you
take it personally.
You take 100%. I take it personally. I'm very big on taking things personally. I love to work with women, and I love when they see just these little aha moments. And I know I can get them there, but then when you hear no, or you hear not right now, then you're just okay, well, maybe. And I think that's where it comes from. I think I need to dive a little bit more deeper into that. But
you care. That's at the end of the day, that's what's clear and obvious to me. You care.
Yeah.
And so when you see a woman who's experiencing the problems that you know how to help solve, and then they are not saying yes to themselves, you're God, you're going to keep experiencing this. I get it.
Yeah.
But I also get the flip side, which is it can make you shy away from wanting to play a bigger game. But do you think that that's why you've leaned heavily into the local stuff?
Probably, yeah. And it's fear too. What if I grow and then people don't like it? Or comparison to other pelvic floor women businesses that have a similar approach to mine. So it's a lot of that getting into my head, and I don't know if I can handle a negative comment, or I don't know if I can handle this. And I have so much to be grateful for, and that when I look at my business and the women that I have helped, but like you said, when a woman says no to herself and cancels or doesn't do the membership for whatever reason, I'm so you're just going to continue to leak. I can help you. I can show you the possibilities. It can happen. Yeah, so
I can see it being heartbreaking.
Yeah.
What I will say is that you have got a track record and a reputation.
Right.
And the reason that so many women are coming to you in our local community is because what you teach works. Mm-hmm. And just as your friend, I would just encourage you to lean in on that. The work that you're doing is amazing. What I want to encourage you to do is lean on the fact that you have this incredible library and examples of all these stories. Mm-hmm. And the women in Brantford are not going to be any different necessarily than women around the world who are experiencing the same problem. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that you're able to help them means you're going to be able to help a lot more people.
Right.
And one of the things that you said was well, what if it doesn't work? And my initial reaction was what if it does?
Right. Yeah.
What if it does? Krystal, look at your passion for helping these women. What if it does work and you're able to help a lot more women?
Yeah.
And I know you're new to the membership game, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But girl, this to me is the greatest vehicle for you to get this expertise out and help a lot more people.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, because you started to venture out in terms of creating more opportunity to help people at scale and through a membership. So at what point did you think, okay, a membership's probably a good place for me to venture into?
Well, I think I have you to thank for that, because I listened. I was not part of a mastermind, and you were a guest on there. And I think the one thing, and I wrote this down, I remember it, was imagine if you tell someone for $2 a day, you can solve their problem. And I remember writing that down and being like, oh my God, like, yes, to me, that just was like a no-brainer, right? So that is the one thing. I remember having it on a sticky note and like putting it on my wall. I'm like a sticky note person that has them like everywhere. I think Post-it notes could probably do a collab with me. So yeah, so that was one thing. And I just always had it in the back of my head. I had someone else also reach out and say like, Krystal, you should probably do some like maybe like a digital product or something like that. And then I thought, and I think a lot of it had to do with, as a business owner, you have to pivot a lot. So seeing how the world is changing, I had like a high offer, and then I do in-person workshops as well, just like get to know me 6 weeks, like let's, learn about your pelvic floor, and that's in person. But I didn't have anything like in between where I could help more people. I will say I did work with someone in England who found me through, I think, a pod, like I have a podcast myself, and she found me that way. And I was like, oh my God, like that's far.
That's crazy.
So that was cool. And then I was just like, hey, this is the sign. I'm doing it. I need to pivot in some way. It got me excited.
What part of it got you excited?
Helping more women. And then community was a big thing when you talked about like how you can create community in your space. I do thrive when I'm teaching, when I'm doing guest speaker gigs, when I'm in front of an audience. I really love to learn and teach. And like when I work with women, I'm like, you guys are all like my friends, like, and I like to bring that in. So like that also was like, oh my God, how cool would it be to have all these women in a community and like getting them to just share all their crap that like they can't really talk about to.
And creating that safe place.
Yeah, that safe space. And this is a space that women need to feel seen. And then it's also vulnerable too. Things that light me up, or like when someone has that like aha moment, like that simple, like, like how you breathe is like affecting how your core is functioning. Like, how do you sit at your desk and like just check in with your breath? And they're like, oh my God, like I hold my breath all the time, or like, I didn't realize that. And so when I get able to coach women, then it's like, oh my God, like, so that was a big thing for me to go into a membership for my business.
So the driving factor for you is being able to reach more people.
Yeah.
And do it in a scalable way. How did you begin thinking about what you would teach inside the membership?
I took a lot from my one-on-one.
Yeah.
So using your success path, mine's a 5-stage. So just getting women from like, what is pelvic floor training? Like, I've never done it before. Like, I didn't know this was a thing. So teaching them about just the basics, and then basically putting on this path so that by stage 5, they're doing full body workouts. They're feeling confident. They're feeling more connected. They're having these aha moments where like they're actually exercising, with better form, better breathing, as I talk about breathing a lot. And they're just able to get through that journey. And they can do it at their own pace. They're all press play, follow along movement and workouts. So that's how I built it, just based on like, don't know what I'm doing. I always encourage going to see a pelvic floor physiotherapist, just to get a little bit more insight. And I had one member recently, and she said, and I can just tell you what they found. And I go, yeah, just tell me what they told you, and then I'll help you out, right? A little bit more specifically. So yeah, so that's how that journey was built.
When you launched your membership, talk to me about how that played out.
A good part of my founding members are like women who have worked with me in the past.
Yeah.
So I just was like, hey, like, can I switch you over here? This is all the stuff you're going to get. You're just going to really help me build it.
Which is an important lesson for everybody to hear, because, oftentimes our best customers for our next thing are our past customers from before.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So a lot of them are still in there. Bonus. Yeah. But in the same thing too, like in the community, they can, because they've worked with me, so they can really lean into like, oh, Krystal's cool. Yeah. Like, she knows what
there's
she's
like street
about.
cred right off the bat. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of them have worked with me in the past. I did that whole like, okay, I'm just gonna go on social media and say this is what I'm doing. And
okay.
So
I want to talk about that, because like people get weirded out when I talk about the founding member launch and how you can go from just like a single message, like today, like people could do it legit today. It's a single message to your audience where you communicate the idea, the vision, you know, the invite, and then the call to action. And so you did this, and you did it with your social media audience, you said?
Yeah, I think I did like a carousel of just me sitting in my office being like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Who's interested? Right. And then I just, you know, got some interest. Just built that like, hey.
Okay. Was there any part of you that was concerned about the fact that you were offering something that you didn't have built yet?
No, because I did it before.
Aha.
So like that back to when I started my one-on-one, it was like I was a week ahead of someone, my member, my people, I was always a week ahead of them. So I knew I could do it because I've done it before. And I had to say that to myself a lot. You just need to now learn how to work membership.io. So so it was just like, okay, I think, I can do it. I mean, it's funny when you look at like, you know, back then, like 5 years ago versus now, like you have a lot more like thoughts in your head. But I was just like, no, I can do it. I know I can do it. And to me, I was just like, I know I'm going to do it. I think when you put it out there, then you're like, hey, well, now I have to do it. So there's that.
There's a lot to be said for that, right? Like it's like the fire that, you know, you need to get at. What advice would you give for somebody who has been sitting on the fence with an idea? And they've been thinking about it, and they haven't been putting it out there. What would you say to them?
You just have to like find your voice wherever it may be, whether it's like email, a story on Instagram, whatever, and just say you're doing it. It puts that accountability in. Like I'm a sole entrepreneur. Like all I have is a VA, and that's it. And it's just me. Like I make the decisions. It's like I wear all the hats in my business. So I had to be accountable to my followers, to new followers, to the women that I've worked with, to be like, hey, this is what I'm doing and I'm doing it. And then it got me, but I was really excited about it.
Yeah.
Like we talked, I think you also mentioned about woo-woo and like just the energy that you bring in. And I'm really big on that. And I just feel like, you know what, you put it out in the universe and then just whatever comes back, comes back.
Well, and to that point, like if you're not excited about it, how could anybody else be excited about it, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that people get tripped up overthinking and overanalyzing. And then that holds them back. And I love the fact, and I want to honor you for just having the idea and be like, okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start talking about it, putting it out there. And all of a sudden you got people that are saying, yeah, we're interested.
Yeah.
So you get your founding members. You're like, okay, this is a thing now. Like, okay.
That was a big thing. And I remember just being like, I really have to get them in the membership because like I had nothing. And I come on being like, hey guys, like emailing, like trying to give them stuff so they're still excited,
bridging the gap type thing.
Like and they were excited because they were like, oh cool, like I can't wait to get in. And then I always was also too like, you got to tell me what's not working and what is working. Like I need to be also open to that criticism, but whatever, like I want to change it for you. So I just got like, I did it and I put them in. And then I was like, okay, here you are, you're in now. Like,
so you got your membership, it's off the ground. There's not much content in there because you hadn't been creating. Did you use any content from before?
I use a lot of content from before. So here's the thing. So this is what I'm working on now too. So I did just like put a lot of the stuff from my one-on-one in there and put it in that path.
And those are all things that you had been creating for your clients before.
Yeah. So lots of like, even just like quick videos. Like I would always like a client had a question. I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to film this and like upload it to YouTube because I'm sure someone else is going to ask that same question. So so I just kind of threw it all in there. But now I'm having this, like I'm going back and being like, hey, you know what? I don't love stage 1 and stage 2 anymore. I think I just need to update it because I will tell you like the one video and it's the first video in stage 1. Like I'm like, who is this person talking on the screen? Like I'm like very like monotone. Like you can tell I'm reading from a teleprompter and I'm just like, there's just like, I'm dry. And I'm just like, who is that? I'm like, I can't stand that video. So I'm going back in and it honestly, it took some, it took some people canceling.
Yeah.
And it took some like of those like low moments to be like, okay, go back into stage 1 and stage 2 and take out those like like that one video that's like not even Krystal. I'm talking about myself in like first person. I'm like, and Krystal did this. Sorry. So I'm just like, I need to update those. So I'm going to update those to have more of my personality and how I've grown since I filmed that video. So that's something I'm going to work on like tomorrow.
Well, I mean, the fun part about this, and I hope you take a moment to, soak it in. But a membership is like always evolving, right? You're always going to be going back, and there's always things that you can update and change and tweak. And there's always things that you're learning about what your members do and don't want and where they are and are not getting stuck. Like we can make a guess, but we're never actually going to really know until we actually start working with people. And so I just want to, again, just acknowledge you for making it happen and learning a whole bunch. You've had this membership now for several months, and so you're still in the early stages of it. You're still like learning a ton of how to best serve your members. But what would you say to somebody about those early days? Are there things that you've learned in the first few months that would be useful for somebody new launching their membership?
Just go with your gut. I mean, a lot of the decisions I've made are just like, hey, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm just going to do it. It is a roller coaster too.
When you say it's a roller coaster, what do you mean by that?
Oh gosh, that's how I like base my business, is I'm on a roller coaster, because there's those highs, and then there's those lows.
So what's an example of both?
So a high would be like a member having a win and saying like, oh my gosh, Krystal, this happened, I'm feeling so good. And a low would be like, hey Krystal, I need to cancel my membership because this, that, and the other thing. So you're like, oh my God, that's so awesome. And then it's like, wah, wah. And then you're like, okay.
How do you normalize yourself?
Oh gosh, I'm still working on that. I'm going to be 100% honest. Like, I do a guided meditation in the morning. I do the same one every morning because I just found it. I use Insight Timer, and it's like 5 minutes, and it's a morning meditation. I working on a lot of just mindset. You have to have a thick skin as a business owner.
I had a conversation yesterday, and I created an Instagram reel about it because somebody was talking to me about the reality. And I was like, you know what? Like, if entrepreneurs paid attention to the reality, none of us would have launched anything. Because the reality is that the odds are stacked against us as entrepreneurs. But thank goodness for the people that didn't listen to the reality, because that's where the creation happens, the innovation happens. That's where like jobs happen, because an entrepreneur somewhere said, screw reality, I'm going to figure it out and try something and experiment and see what happens. And so that's what's happening, and kudos to you for that. And it can be a roller coaster for sure. But at the same time, it's like, you're moving forward regardless. And you have the confidence to know that you'll figure it out. And you have. And that's what's exciting. And you're building momentum. So moving forward, what are you most excited about with your membership?
I'm excited to grow. Like, I know I said I have those limiting beliefs, and, I'm working through that, and that's okay. It's part of the journey. But when I do have those moments of doubt, I look back. I always look back. I look at my whole business journey. And actually, it was funny. When I was driving here, I drove past, I was on a road where I used to do in person, go to their house and do personal training.
Oh, wow.
And this was when I was like finding my way. And I remember I drove by one of the houses, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember going there and going into the house and doing personal training. And I think about like how far I've come, and those things just ground me when I'm like, look at how far you've come. And then also I look to the fact of like my journey into the membership, like you on that mastermind call, and then me finding through social and marketing, and then it being in Brantford, and then like all the team here is so awesome, and they're like amazing cheerleaders, and someone who's a sole entrepreneur, like that is really helpful to me, and it fills my cup. I tell my clients too, it's one thing that I when I coach, I'm like, look behind you, like see how far you've come. Like, don't always look about what's next, like see how far you've come. And then that just makes that journey even sweeter. So for me, it's just the excitement of like growing this, coming out of my comfort zone 100%, of just expanding past my little comfortable Brantford. I look up to a lot of women in the pelvic floor space and see how they've grown. So I'm like, why can't I do that?
If it worked for them, why not me?
Exactly. So I'm excited for that. And I know when I have those moments of self-doubt, I will say to myself, like, no, I'm supposed to be doing this. Like, this is the path I'm supposed to be on, and it's not going to be easy. You've started this in June. Like, I've only really done one launch, and it wasn't great. But I mean, it probably was great. I just don't see it that way.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
For the work that you're doing, the women that you're helping, and the progress that you're making in such a short period of time is really exciting. And I see it because I see in you, like, you're doing all the right things. You've got all the stories and proven success stories. And for me, I'm just like, from a marketing guy, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, you have all the ingredients, like, for, epicness. It's just, you just got to keep doing your thing. Yeah. As we look to wrap up, what advice would you give for somebody who is right about where you were a few months ago? They're on the cusp of launching their next thing. What would you say to them?
I would say, it's just going to come down to just do it. Just do it, like Nike says. It's one of the things, like, you mentioned in this podcast, like, you hear about that. What if it doesn't work? Well, what if it does work? Yeah. And I feel like I hear that a lot. Like, you hear that, especially in like business, like, well, what if I don't? Well, what if you do? What if it does work out? And what if, okay, maybe it doesn't. Maybe we're just going to pivot a different way and try something different.
But it'll lead to the thing.
Yeah. And all those challenges and stuff, they help you grow. As much as, like, I talk about feeling down, the roller coaster and stuff, that down part of the roller coaster does lead to that up part. So that challenge down there is going to help me grow and pivot in a different way. So, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time. I want to thank you for being honest and vulnerable and sharing. Where can people go to connect with you?
So on Instagram, I'm fitness.reset. I do have I have a webpage too. It's fitnessresetinfo.com. I am on Facebook too. Again, Fitness Reset. And my membership is called the Body Reset Method.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming. This was awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was great.
Sweet. Hey, real quick, if you've built an audience, but turning that audience into consistent income still feels confusing or inconsistent, then you need to join us for the Audience to Income Summit. It's a live virtual event, and it's totally free, happening April 8th through the 10th. And we're bringing in top creators like Russell Brunson, Amy Porterfield, Jeff Walker, and more than 20 others who are sharing exactly what's working right now to get discovered, get paid, and to keep getting paid. Now, this is no fluff, just real strategies. So grab your seat for free at membership.io/summit. The link is also in the description. I'll see you there. Now, that was Krystal Schouten. And if this conversation helped you see what's possible with your expertise, then hit subscribe because we got new episodes every week. And if you want to follow Krystal's journey, I put together a free resource kit with her info, all the show notes, and a guide to turning your expertise into a membership. Just scan the QR code or grab the link in the description. Now, next week, we have Dean Graziosi. And Dean is an unbelievable marketing genius who consistently runs online events with hundreds of thousands of attendees. In fact, his last event had over 680,000 attendees. Mind-boggling. And in the next episode, we break it all down. How did he get that many people into that event, and how did he structure the event to become one of the biggest online launches of the year? You're going to find out exactly in the next episode. Can't wait to see you there.